Hi, it's Chris Watkin here with John Paul, Matt Lee and Chris England. So say hello to all the cameras, boys
Hi,
and girls.
cameras.
Hi,
Hi,
cameras.
guys.
Hi, all cameras. All three cameras.
And today JP's come down for a bit of a chat with all of us, talk about his future projects. And I thought it'd be a golden opportunity for all of us to get round a proverbial table before we went out for a few beers and a curry to talk about where UK estate agency and letting agencies are. So let's start off with the big man himself, John.
Height. Boom.
John, you've been in a estate agency now for nearly 10 years. What's the best thing that's changed in the last 10 years and what's the worst thing that's changed?
The worst thing has to be regulation, legislation. But in all honesty, it's also the best thing.
Okay.
Blow your mind, work that one out.
What sort of legislation, just those that might not know, that estate agents and letting agents are under?
Oh, it's the Professionalism is a Deregulation Act, it's smoke detectors, you name it. There's case law coming out, there's precedents being set all the time. It's the pressure from the...
It's about 150, isn't it?
Something like that, yeah.
Does that surprise you?
Yeah, it's
That's
a lot,
me.
isn't it?
I thought
Is
there
that-
was
I
more
think-
in lettings, as in
Yeah.
tick boxes.
If you look at the sort of, you've got the Umbrella Act, such as the Health and Safety at Work Act, and then you've got the PPE and all that. If you look at health and safety, you're probably looking at close at 200, because that, I used to be health and safety before property, and I could probably name about 50, 60 acts and regulations that are applicable.
Really?
Yeah.
So if you
there's
don't do
tons.
stuff, I mean, we're quite new to the industry, but, well, fairly, I suppose, but we understand that you can get screwed, through the courts if you do something wrong.
It's
can't you?
it's unreal, and I'm a big believer in our justice system. However, you don't know what you don't know. So there's 200 laws and regulations that you've got to understand, and you have to comply to.
Yeah.
How do you go about doing that? I mean, do you have a compliance officer in your
It's
in your
self-education.
office?
I mean, we're a lot better now because we're like Arla, shameless plug. And
Oh,
You remember the Vala, right?
yes, yeah, I'm on the board of directors.
Yeah.
Check you out.
Famous guy.
Love it,
To be
love
fair,
it.
though, Chris was with Sally Lawson a couple of weeks ago,
Yeah.
and she was saying about how fantastic Arla is for the industry as a whole, because
It's unreal, yeah.
we were saying earlier about moving on from kind of regulation and all of those sort of things. She was saying how vital it was to try and change the kind of perception of the industry as a whole. And her view, that Chris actually gave a bit of stick for and said, are you dreaming? Was to actually have people want to become lettings and estate agents. And I guess through that kind of education around all of the legislation and everything else, but also making it an industry that people are proud to be a part of,
Yeah.
that will change. And Arla's helping to do that, right?
Oh, absolutely, massively. And we were talking off camera before this, and my whole drive and of being part of Arla and doing what I'm doing with the training and development is to make this industry more professionalised. I don't want to be associated with something that can be attributed to negativity and gangsters and rogues and cowboys and stuff. It's just not what I want to be. So
What, you're embarrassed to say you're an estate agent at a party? Or
I'm
is it like...
I'm not.
No, 'cause you run a good
yeah,
tight
'cause
ship,
I run a-
yeah.
run a tight
Successful
ship,
business,
and
yeah.
I'm a lot bigger than the people I talk to. So,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of people I do know who are embarrassed about it.
Yeah.
And it's shocking because I know for every 10 agents, 9 are really good.
Yeah.
Are sort of honest and genuine. Yes, you get the cowboys and the rogues. Now, out of those 9, you might have 1 or 2 that can sell houses, and then the remainder can't run a business, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
they
yeah.
can manage property, but they can't manage a
They're
business.
not business people.
Exactly.
They're industry experts. I guess.
Exactly. So just from the stuff that I've come across and a bit of what you want to call empirical evidence is you're looking at around about 15 to 20% of agents are decent agents.
Right.
And then you're looking at probably maybe 10% are rogues and cowboys and should be flogged in the street and shut down. But the remainder are sort of in that quandary where they want to be the best that they can be and they want to progress and they want to achieve more, but they don't have the time, they don't have the knowledge, and they just don't know where to
The
go.
business side is holding them back.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and that's where Arla can help. Take a lot of the legal and compliance or educate people, but they've got to go to Arla to become educated so they know what to do.
Okay.
I think a lot of it. We were talking earlier, weren't we, about the foreign models, weren't we?
Yeah, the Australians, the negotiators take it upon themselves to train themselves, whilst here the negotiators are beholden to their bosses.
Yeah.
And that's where the corporates come in, because at least they do train their staff well. Coming back to the original question, though, you said that's the worst thing. What's the best thing that's changed?
the legislation, so it's forcing.
What? It's the worst and the best.
Yes, yeah, it's a paradox. Yeah, yeah. I generally think that if it wasn't for the legislation and the regulation,
So not the internet, not virtual reality, not Rightmove. Legislation is the best and worst thing. That's
yes, absolutely.
You surprised me with that,
Yeah,
JP.
yeah. I'm surprised a lot of people, but I think it is because it's forcing us to become more competitive. It's forcing us to innovate. It's forcing us to train our staff more. You've got to train your staff in order to keep up with legislation.
True.
You don't just send people on a compliance course. You'll send them on how to be more efficient, how to be more effective, customer service. You name it, everything comes from regulation. Now, don't get me wrong, if there's a lot of regulation and legislation that is needed, like smoke detectors, I think electrical should be coming in sooner rather than later.
Boilers,
How the hell that
yeah.
got in before Legionnaires, but that's a different conversation.
Yeah.
This forces people to take more care and attention to managing people's assets, which makes people more care and attentive to becoming more efficient.
That keeps going back to what we were saying then about people wanting to be in your industry and being proud of being in the industry. Do you think that in a kind of converse way, by adding in these legislation and adding in more procedure, having to then train your staff helps you retain people because they feel like they are more knowledgeable, more expert in that field, and they both become upskilled and more motivated with which to do better in your industry.
Right, let's take that bit by bit. So everything you said is absolutely blob on. So if you look at all the motivational and the behavioural theorists in the world, this isn't just my opinion.
Is that a technical term?
What's that?
Blob on.
Blob on. Yeah, it's a northern thing.
All right,
yeah,
okay, so
We'll get the translation later on. But if you look at all the motivational behavioural theorists, so you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, Hertzberg, Alderfer, Adam's equity theory, they all talk about what makes people motivated in your business.
Yeah.
It's progression.
Not the money, which everyone thinks.
It's never,
the money.
ever the money. So it's progression, achievement, attainment, ambition, i.e. being better tomorrow than what you are today.
And
Being
trust, I
better
guess.
today than what they are yesterday. So money is what's called an enabler. So that just gives you the options to do with what you want with your life.
Right.
But actual motivation, nuts and bolts of how to get people and make them better,
Belonging.
is belonging. But how do you do that in a business? You do it by training and developing them. You do it by investing in the people. So if you invest in your staff and you train them to be better tomorrow, and you set short, medium, long-term goals that people can achieve and aspire to, then you're going to get their buy-in, you're going to get loyalty, you're going to get reciprocity, you're going to get all that cool things that we want in staff, but we don't know how to extract out of them.
But you'll also keep them in your industry, because even if they leave you, and they say, John Paul, thanks a million for the start you gave me in the industry, whatever, but I've been offered a partnership in a firm, in another city, whatever, and my husband wants to move down there. The likelihood is that because they're expert and because they're knowledgeable and because they're trained, that good person will stay in the industry, and that's because a lot.
If the industry's got a good name for itself,
because I mean, we do a lot of work with Chris and look at a lot of his interview stuff and follow a lot of his stuff online, and a huge problem seems to be it's just this is from a novice. I'm not a letting agent. We're videographers. We make content for the industry, but what seems to be a big problem for people is finding good, quality, motivated staff and actually attracting people into their business.
It is, but it's not when you get the processes on training and development correct. So here's a fun fact Friday.
Sure.
No person has ever left Castledene or any of our businesses to go to another business because they thought the other business was better. We'd either performance manage them out of the business because they weren't up to scratch, fair enough. They put the notice in because they were getting performance managed, or they had to leave for X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
The ones that have left, there's several have tried to come back. The two that have left, who've gone to other businesses, were moving down south, relocating.
Same.
Yeah, one of them, and I put this on LinkedIn, so it's checkable. I put on that Ashley's leaving the industry. She's a great assistant manager, area manager, so she's higher than manager. If you want to make the best recruitment decision you've ever made, give her a job. She had 12 interviews down south in London, central London. She got offered all 12 jobs.
Wow. Tough
All
market
12.
as
Tough
well.
market as well.
Yeah.
And it was, I'm not going to take any credit, not even 1%. It was all down to Ashley and the hard work she put in when she was at Castledene. Now, she helped drive investors and people forward, which is a huge thing that we've got in the business. And I think we're the only agent in the UK to ever get the gold award, gold accreditation on our first go.
Right.
In fact, we still, I don't think there's any other agent that's got it.
Do you then train other agencies on raising their standards.
Yeah, so part of an additional business I've got on the side is agency consulting, where basically help people train and develop the staff and all that sort of stuff. But in Castledene, from a very, very early period in the business, I realised that we want good people with good core values and core beliefs. Forget the industry, you want decent people, no matter what industry they're in. Because if you've got good training and development in your business, you can give them the technical ability to be good in your business, right? So it's the people, focus on the people. How do you do that? Well, our industry, we don't pay for normal sales negs and letting negs. You don't pay your 25, your 30, your 40, your 50Ks as you would if you were in some other industries. So we had to focus on something other than the money. So it was training and developing and expanding their knowledge, their horizons, their vision, and making them a better person. And Adele, who's my MD, we always say, so if they leave, great, we'll shake their hands, pat them on the back if they do it in the right way, not try and nick your database and bugger off to a competitor. But so long as they're better when they leave than the day they first came, job
Everyone's a winner.
done. Job done, we're happy with that.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you, John. We'll probably just carry on this discussion in the next video. Cheers, boys.